Hello, my lovely and adorable students. Welcome you all to yet another interesting lesson of English. In today's video, we are going to read an interesting poem from your literature reader book, that is The Plaint of the Camel. Now, before I proceed with the explanation of the poem, I would like you all to open your books on page number 40 so that we can read about the poet. The poet Charles Edward Carroll was an American poet. It is mentioned in your book that he was born in 1841 and died in 1920. He was a children's literature author. He was a businessman and stockbroker who used to write for himself and his children. So basically, he was a poet who used to write poems for children. Right? Now, one such poem, The Plaint of the Camel, is also written by Charles Edward Carroll. If we talk about the title of the poem, that is The Plaint of the Camel. Plaint means complain, right? And camel is a very common animal that you all are aware of, right? It is also known as the ship of the desert. It is a very adaptable animal. Why? Because it has certain qualities like it can go without food and water for several days. Okay, and in this poem, the camel makes complaints about different things for which he is unhappy and not satisfied. Okay, so the poet says that this is the nature of we human beings also. Why? Because we never appreciate the things that we have. Instead, we always compare ourselves with others. We always want the things that others have, and never ever we feel happy with what we have. So through this poem, the poet is trying to indicate at the nature of the human beings also who are in a habit of complaining and comparing themselves with others. Okay, now before I proceed with the explanation of the poem, I would like you all to know some features or some characteristics of this animal who is complaining in this poem. I have already shared with you that a camel is a very adaptable animal. A camel has been domesticated thousands of years ago and people are dependent on it till today. Camel is also known as a ship of the desert. Why? Because it has found ways to survive in the desert. Camels have a thick coat of hair that protects them from sun. They have soft feet so that they can walk for a long time in the sand. They can eat and drink large amount of food and water and store it in their hump. A camel has a bushy eyebrow that does not allow sand to enter his eyes. It also has a long, thin neck to reach high trees. Camels are used for riding and carrying things and people. I hope, children, you found the information useful that I shared with you about the camels. Now, open your books on page number 39 so that we can read the poem and we can get to know about the complaints that the camel makes. Okay, now in this poem, there are 5 stanzas and in every stanza, the camel makes one complaint, right? So there are 5 complaints that are made by the camel. Now the question is, who is the camel complaining to? The camel is complaining to the readers. The camel is complaining to us, the people who are reading this poem, right? Now, in the first stanza, he complains about the food that is given to it by the human beings. Okay. Then in the second stanza, he complains about the place it sleeps. In the next stanza, he complains about the home that is given to it. In the fourth stanza, he complains about the people who ride on it. And in the last stanza, he complains about its looks and features. Okay, so let us continue with the explanation of the poem and let us learn in detail about each of his complaints. The first stanza says, canary birds feed on sugar and seeds. Parrots have crackers to crunch. And as for the poodles, they tell me the noodles have chicken and cream for their lunch. But there is never a question about my digestion. Anything does for me. Now, the camel in this stanza is complaining about the food that is given to it, right? It says that canary birds feed on sugar and seeds. Now, children, canary birds are the kind of birds that are found in European continents, especially in Canary Islands. That is why the name is given to them as canary birds. I'll show you the picture of canary birds. So here, children, you can see canary birds, right? These birds are found in European countries in Canary Islands. That is why they are known as canary birds. They are of different colors. In the picture, you can see a yellow and a red canary bird. There are other different types of canaries which you can see in the picture. Domestic canary, blue factor canary, Gloucester canary, red canary, green canary, border canary, and so on. Many are there. You can have a look, right? So these birds, where do they feed? They feed on sugar and seeds. Parrots have crackers to crunch. Now children, crackers means a kind of biscuit, right? Something crunchy. So canary birds, they eat sugar and seeds. And what do the parrots eat? They have crackers, something crunchy to eat. And as for the poodles, they tell me the noodles. Now what do the poodles eat? Poodles is a kind of a dog. It's a breed of a dog that has thick curly hair. Okay, so write down, underline the word poodles. Underline the word poodles and write down a breed of dog that has thick curly hair. Right? Now what do the poodles eat? The poodles eat noodles. Okay, they have chicken and cream for their lunch. Now I have a picture for you, the picture of poodles. So this is how a poodle looks like. This is a breed of dogs that is generally found in Germany. In India, you will hardly find poodles. And you see, all over its body, the hair is thick and curly. Isn't it? So children, what do they eat? We have just now read that they eat noodles and they also have chicken and cream for their lunch, right? So you see that the camel is complaining here. He is saying that other animals like canary birds, parrots and poodles, they have something specific to eat. They have special food that is given to them by the human beings. But what about camels? In the last few lines of the first stanza, he says, but there is never a question about my digestion. Anything does for me. He says, nobody thinks of my food. Nobody bothers what am I eating. There is no specific food that is given to camels by the human beings. Now children, you see the word anything is written in bold. Why? Because it emphasizes the feeling of the camel, that the camel is feeling sad, that human beings are not the human beings are not aware of the discomfort that they are causing to the camels. They are not treating camel in a fair way as they treat other animals. Isn't it? So in the first stanza, he is complaining about the food that is given to it. He says that the canary birds feed on seed and sugar. The parrots crunch what? Biscuits. Then the poodles, he says that the poodles eat noodles, chicken and cream for their lunch. But nobody cares for me and nobody is bothered about the things that I eat. There is no specific food that is made for the camels. So poor camel is very unhappy and he is complaining to the readers. I hope children first stanza is clear to you. Now moving on to second stanza. It says, cats, you are aware, can repose in a chair. Chickens can roost upon rails. Puppies are able to sleep in the stable. And oysters can slumber in pails. But no one supposes a poor camel dozes. Any place does for me. Now here in the second stanza, the camel is complaining about the place where it sleeps. It is saying that cats, you are aware, can repose in a chair. It is saying that each one of you know that cats can take rest on a chair. Repose means to take rest. He is saying cats can relax anywhere on a chair, isn't it? Now just look at this picture. See how comfortably is the cat sitting on the chair in a relaxing manner. It is taking rest on a chair. That is why the camel says that the cats can repose in a chair, and every one of us know this. Chickens can roost upon rails. Now chickens means the hens. Now roost means sit. Write down, roost means sit or rest. Now where do hens and cocks can sit and rest? They can sit upon rails. Now rails means an iron or a wooden bar that is placed horizontally for different purposes. The next picture shows you. This is the rail. You see in the picture a wooden bar on which the hens are sitting, right? So this is known as rail. So we have learned that chickens can roost upon rails. They can sit on this rail and they can take rest. Puppies are able to sleep in the stable. Now children, underline the word stable. Stable is a kind of home that is especially made for horses. Horses are kept in a stable. So the camel is saying that puppies. Who are puppies? Puppies means the young one of a dog. So the puppies can sleep in a stable. They also have special type of houses for taking rest. And oysters can slumber in pails. Now what is an oyster? Children, an oyster is a kind of water animal with a hard shell inside which pearls can be found. Oysters are generally found inside water. I'll show you how an oyster looks like. This is how an oyster looks like. It is found in water and the shell of the oyster is very hard. And inside the oyster, pearls can be found. And children, these pearls are used for making different jewelries, right? You might have seen your mothers wearing pearl necklace, right? So that pearl is found inside the shell of the oyster. We also have pearl rings made of pearl. So it is found inside the shell of oyster. An oyster can slumber in pails. Slumber means sleep. The meaning is given over there in the box. In pails. Pails means a kind of bucket. Underline and write down. Pail means a kind of bucket. So the oyster can sleep in the pail, isn't it? But no one supposes a poor camel dozes. Any place does for me. Now he is saying, the camel is saying that no one thinks that the camel takes a small sleep, a light sleep. Dozes means, write down children, dozes means a light sleep. He is saying that humans are not thinking that where does a camel sleep? The camel does not have any special place like other animals. So it can sleep anywhere. In the last line it says any place does for me. Now see, any place is also in bold. Why? Because it emphasizes on the feeling of the camel that humans are treating him unfairly. So in the second stanza, he complains about the place that is given to him for sleeping. He says that the cats can take rest on a chair. Chickens can sit and they can roost upon the rails. Oysters can sleep in the pails. Puppies are able to sleep in the stable. But what about me? What about poor camel? It does not have any special place to take rest. So he's saying that humans are not thinking about the camel. Humans think that the camel can sleep anywhere in any place. So in the second stanza, he complains about the place that is given to him for sleeping. I hope children these two stanzas are clear to you. Now we'll continue with the latter part of the poem in the next video. Till then, revise these two stanzas. If any doubts, you can always ask me. Thank you so much. See you all in the next video.